The story mainly revolves around two women working at a nutritional supplement company called Vixt. Natalie Farrell, beautiful, confident, and successful saleswoman, very popular at work, organizing a charity 5K run for cerebral palsy research, dating a coworker named Caleb. Narrates the present-day chapters. Dawn Schiff, quiet, socially awkward accountant, extremely routine-oriented and obsessed with turtles, has difficulty making friends, writes long emails to her childhood friend Mia. Her chapters show events from the past, revealing her thoughts. Everyone in the office finds Dawn strange, but Natalie tries to be somewhat kind to her. One morning, Natalie arrives at work and notices something shocking. Dawn is not at her desk. This is extremely unusual because Dawn follows a perfect daily routine. She arrives at 8:45 every day without fail. Natalie begins to feel uneasy. Then, several strange things happen. Natalie finds a small turtle figurine on her desk. When she touches it, she notices dark red stains on it that smell metallic, possibly blood. Dawn's desk phone rings. Natalie answers it. A frightened female voice whispers, "Help me!" Then the call disconnects. Natalie believes the voice might be Dawn. Natalie also remembers Dawn sent her an email the previous day saying she needed to discuss a matter of great importance. Dawn also scheduled a serious meeting with their boss, Seth, for 2 p.m. But Dawn never shows up. Natalie arrives at Dawn's house. Everything seems quiet. Too quiet. Inside, she finds an open wine bottle, 2 glasses, one broken on the floor, a clean but eerie house filled with turtle items. Something is clearly wrong. Then she sees signs of a struggle and something shocking. Blood. She panics, calls the police. Now Dawn is officially a missing person. Then we start seeing something else. Emails. Written by Dawn. Addressed to someone very close to her. Mia. Through these emails, we learn Dawn struggles socially. She feels misunderstood. She doesn't fit in. But when she writes to Mia, her tone changes. She opens up. She talks about her past, her thoughts, how people treat her, and how much Mia means to her. Mia is clearly the only person who ever truly understood Dawn. As the investigation continues, things start pointing toward Natalie. Her connection to Dawn, her behavior, her past. Everything begins to look suspicious. That same day, after speaking with the detective, Natalie meets Caleb. She's not calm anymore. There's urgency in her voice. She explains everything, the questions, the suspicion, how the case is shifting toward her. Then she asks him directly to tell the police that she was with him, to confirm it clearly, to stand by her. At first, Caleb agrees. He reassures her. He tells her not to worry. And when he speaks to the police, he supports her story. He becomes her alibi. But later, Caleb goes back to the police and changes his statement. He says she was not with him the entire time. Her alibi breaks. And just like that, Natalie becomes the main suspect. As everything begins to close in on Natalie, the truth about her life starts surfacing in layers she can no longer control. Her relationship with Seth is no longer something she can keep in the background. What once seemed normal now carries a different weight. Seth had been married when things started between them. He cheated on his wife with Natalie, and whatever they have now is built on that fractured beginning. His divorce didn't happen quietly. It came from tension, arguments, and something that had clearly been breaking for a while. Then things take a sharper turn. The detective reveals that Natalie is being investigated for embezzling company funds. It's serious, intentional, and worse, it's backed by suspicions strong enough to make it believable. Even Seth knows about it now, and when Natalie tries to explain, tries to tell him she didn't do it, he doesn't fully believe her. There's doubt in his silence, distance in the way he reacts. The one person she thought would stand by her doesn't. Now, she's alone in this. Trying to make sense of everything, Natalie focuses on the only lead she has, the unknown caller. And eventually, she manages to trace it back to 3 different addresses. It's the first real piece of control she has. But before she can act on it, something else happens. A body is found, a girl, and almost immediately, people begin to assume the worst, that it's Dawn. The case shifts again. What once felt like a disappearance now starts to look like something far darker. And yet, life continues to move forward in strange, almost disconnected ways. The company's charity run is still happening. Natalie had originally taken part in it because of her friend, Amelia. Someone who once mattered, someone tied to a version of her past that now feels distant, but not entirely gone. But before anything can settle, everything collapses again. Natalie is arrested. And in the middle of all this, still trying to hold on to something stable, she gives the addresses she found to Caleb, trusting him, relying on him in a moment where she has almost no one else. And then, the first truth breaks. Dawn isn't dead. Everything everyone believed, everything that was assumed after the body was found, it's wrong. And before that truth can even settle, a second one follows. Caleb and Dawn were working together. Not coincidence, not chance, together. And the reason goes deeper than anything Natalie expected. This wasn't random. This was personal. Because Natalie wasn't innocent in her past. She and her friend Katie had bullied someone, Mia. And Amelia and Mia were the same person. What once felt like a small, forgotten part of her life now comes back with consequences she can't escape. While all of this unfolds, Seth finally does something that shifts everything again. But the truth behind Caleb and Dawn is even more personal than it first appears. Because Caleb wasn't just randomly involved in all of this. He was Mia's brother. Which means everything, every move, every plan, every step was rooted in something much deeper than revenge alone. It was personal. It was about what had been done to his sister, and the life that followed because of it. And Dawn wasn't just working with him, she was in a relationship with him. What seemed like manipulation or strategy at first now takes on a different meaning. There was connection there, trust, a shared purpose built on the same past. But when everything starts falling apart, when the truth begins to come out and there's no way to hold the plan together anymore, Dawn doesn't try to kill anyone. Instead, she turns that intention toward herself. Because she realizes something critical. Without a confirmed body, without solid proof, she won't be locked away permanently. The case won't fully close. There will always be gaps, loopholes that could eventually bring her back out. And that changes everything. The body that was found wasn't even hers, which means the entire assumption the investigation was built on starts to collapse. While all of this unfolds, Seth finally does something that shifts everything again. He checks the company records himself and realizes something crucial. No money is actually missing, which means the accusation against Natalie doesn't fully hold. And for the first time since everything began, he steps back in. He bails her out. Together, they decide to go to one of the addresses Natalie found, the only way to finally get answers. But when they begin digging into it, they don't immediately find Dawn. Instead, they hear something strange. Someone mentions that a man had come and taken her, and that's when it clicks. Caleb. Suddenly, everything starts rearranging itself in Natalie's mind. The trust, the timing, the way he stayed close through everything, it no longer feels like support. It feels planned. And confusing as it is, before they can even fully process it, himself. He tells them Dawn is alive, that she's not trying to hurt anyone, but herself. That everything has gone too far. Now, instead of chasing a suspect, they're racing against time. All three of them, Natalie, Seth, and Caleb, begin searching for her, following whatever leads they can, trying to predict where she might go. And eventually, it leads them to the coast. A quiet, isolated stretch near Revere Beach. It's not crowded, not loud, just open space and unfinished construction nearby. That's where Natalie finds her. Dawn is standing near the edge, close to where construction work is still ongoing. High enough, dangerous enough. And for a moment, everything goes still. Natalie approaches her carefully, trying to talk her down, trying to understand her. But in that moment, Dawn already knows. She knows Natalie has figured it out, and something shifts. This isn't just about ending things anymore, because Dawn has been told something that changes her decision completely. That even if she dies, Natalie won't face consequences, that she'll walk away. And that's when the intention turns. Instead of harming herself, Dawn turns toward Natalie. Now, it's not escape she wants, it's confrontation. Everything that's been buried, Mia, the bullying, the past, it all comes rushing to the surface. And in that moment, it's no longer about plans or control. It's personal. But Natalie doesn't fight back the way you'd expect. Instead, she stops it. Not perfectly, not heroically, but enough. Enough to break the moment. Enough for both of them to step back from something that could have gone too far. And in that pause, something changes. They don't continue. They don't push it further. They stop. Later, when the authorities get involved, Dawn tells a different story. She lies, says it was an accident, that she hit her head, that nothing was intentional. And just like that, the narrative shifts again. Things settle, but not cleanly. Because the truth doesn't disappear. It just stays hidden under what people choose to believe. And eventually, the final pieces fall into place. The body that was found earlier, it wasn't Dawn, it was Katie. Someone from Natalie's past. Someone connected to everything that had started this in the first place. And this is where the full truth comes out. About the bullying, about Mia, about how deeply those actions had affected everything that came after. And what Dawn had done to Katie, why she did it, how it all connects. But even with all of that revealed, one thing remains quietly unsettling. Natalie isn't innocent. She understands everything now, the past, the consequences, the damage. But that doesn't erase what she's done. Because in the end, she was taking money. Carefully, smartly, quietly. Enough to stay hidden. Enough to walk away looking like the victim, in a story where no one truly is. And as everything comes to a close, what's left isn't justice. It's something far more uncomfortable. The realization that sometimes the truth exists, but never fully surfaces.